Hi there. Now we're going to be doing lesson number 13. A meaningless world engenders fear. Today's idea is really another form of the preceding one, except that it is more specific as to the emotion aroused. Actually, a meaningless world is impossible. Nothing without meaning exists. However, it does not follow that you will not think you perceive something that has no meaning. On the contrary, you will be particularly likely to think you do perceive it. Our mind is being trained here to understand that things in and of themselves are meaningless in terms of not being good or bad. And they have the meaning that God gave them. But we can't see the meaning that things have because we have overlaid our meaning on them. And when we think about a world without meaning, it engenders fear because the ego mind needs to know what meaning does it have, because the ego operates in right or wrong. So if there is something wrong about that thing, we need to know that. Why? Because the ego is going to do something about it. It's going to run away if it thinks that the meaning to entering a space is that it's something bad over there. The ego is going to want us to go the other way. If we give it a meaning, oh, this is going to be good, then the ego is going to want to go and get something good out of it. Once we create those determinations, we are going to experience a lot of fear if we do not understand that everything has the meaning that God has given it. So let's go to paragraph number 2. Recognition of meaninglessness arouses intense anxiety in all the separated ones. All of us who have an ego, the idea of meaninglessness really can make us uncomfortable, because if we're applying it to everything we see out there, the ego's saying, oh boy, eventually it's going to get applied to me, and I don't want to be meaningless, because the ego has given us meaning, definitions, identities that we are very attached to. So paragraph 2, sentence 2. It represents a situation in which God and the ego challenge each other as to whose meaning is to be written in the empty space that meaninglessness provides. The ego rushes in frantically to establish its own ideas there, fearful that the void may otherwise be used to demonstrate its own impotence and unreality. And on this alone, it is correct. Yes, the ego has no reality and it is really impotent. It cannot do anything. But as long as we operate from the ideas, the beliefs that the ego uses, just the concept of meaninglessness is very, very scary to our ego. Paragraph 3. It is essential, therefore, that you learn to recognize the meaninglessness and accept it without fear. If you are fearful, it is certain that you will endow the world with attributes that it does not possess, and crowd it with images that do not exist. To the ego, illusions are safety devices, as they must also be to you who equate yourself with the ego. The minute the ego labels something, it has us feel a sense of safety here. If it's bad, we know we need to run away. If it's good, it gives us permission to move forward. Paragraph 4. The exercises for today, which should be done about 3 or 4 times for not more than a minute or so, at most each time, are to be practiced in a somewhat different way from the preceding ones. With eyes closed, repeat today's idea to yourself. Then open your eyes and look about you slowly, saying, so you close your eyes, then you open them up. I am looking at a meaningless world. Repeat this statement to yourself as you look about. Then close your eyes and conclude with, a meaningless world engenders fear, because I think I am in competition with God. Let me read that again. A meaningless world engenders fear, because I think I am in competition with God. Paragraph 5. You may find it difficult to avoid resistance in one form or another to this concluding statement. Whatever form such resistance may take, remind yourself that you are really afraid of such a thought because of the vengeance of the enemy. You are not expected to believe the statement at this point and will probably dismiss it as preposterous. Note carefully, however, any signs of overt or covert fear which it may cause. Paragraph 6. This is our first attempt at stating an explicit cause and effect relationship of a kind which we're very inexperienced in recognizing. Do not dwell on the concluding statement and try not even to think of it except during the practice periods. That will suffice at present. I am looking at a meaningless world. A meaningless world engenders fear because I think I am in competition with God. See, the ego has given things meaning, and now we're finding out that, wait a second, God has given things meaning? Well, that does engender a lot of fear because the part of us that thinks it knows everything now is facing the one power that most of us has been taught is the ultimate power, is the one that decides if we get to go to heaven or not, is the one that allows us to be in the life everlasting or ever after. And now we're beginning to have competition with God here. We're only in lesson 13, so we're going to begin to face some of the conflicts that we have become accustomed to believing they are okay. So take it easy with these lessons. Again, we're just barely starting. Have a magnificent rest of your day. And by the way, thank you for your willingness to tackle these lessons, because it is in the beginning to feed our mind truth that we will finally be able to come to the place where we can free ourselves from the prison that our ego has created for us. Again, thank you. You are magnificent.